CGC Sports Illustrated. This is podcast episode number 5. So I'm going to cover two main topics today. Number one, terrible first covers. We all want that rookie issue. We all want that first appearance of a superstar athlete. But for some stars, their first cover is not only just disappointing, it's an absolute disaster of a first cover. So we'll look at some examples of those today and things that you can do about that. Number two, we're going to talk about the recent price changes at CGC. So CGC not only increased the prices for their services like grading, they also changed the benefits for each membership tier. So that'll be the second topic we cover, and then we'll wrap with some viewer mail. First thing, I want to make a couple of disclaimers, and I feel like I kind of have to do this at the beginning of every video because the issues keep coming up and up again. The first disclaimer is I only collect newsstand issues. I do not collect subscription issues. I don't talk about subscription issues other than to say that I don't collect them. The reason is pretty simple. There are way too many copies of subscription issues in the marketplace for them to be really collectible and have any sort of value. There were literally millions and millions of copies of every single Sports Illustrated issue produced every week from 1954 through today. Whenever there are millions of anything in any collectible space, they just really don't hold much value. I mean, this is the same category as like junk wax era sports cards, Beanie Babies, subscription Sports Illustrateds kind of fall into that one too. Other disclaimer, I always try and be as transparent as possible with you. Whenever I talk about a specific issue, I am always going to try my best to remember and tell you whether I own that issue or not. I think that transparency is really important so everybody knows exactly where I stand personally on issues that I'm discussing. Okay, so let's dig in and talk about terrible first covers of superstars. It's kind of interesting because this is really kind of unique to the Sports Illustrated hobby. Because if you're collecting sports cards, 99% of the time, it's only that athlete that's featured on the card. Mickey Mantle cards, Michael Jordan, Luka Doncic, you're just getting a picture of those stars. But for Sports Illustrated collecting, many times the athletes share the cover with other athletes, or they're not very prominently featured on the cover. And this poses a bit of a problem when it comes to collecting first covers or rookie covers. Rookie covers are supposed to be the holy grail for an athlete and the collectible industry. But that can really be pretty significantly diminished if that first cover doesn't prominently feature that athlete or features them in a poor light. So, and rookie covers are always going to be collectible no matter what, and have a certain degree of collectability. But the following examples are something you should keep in mind. And there's going to be specific instances when an athlete has such a bad rookie cover. What that's going to do is it's going to make their second appearance or their second cover even more collectible than it normally would have been. So let's start out with the absolute worst offender in this entire category. And that's, unfortunately, it's Lou Alcindor, who is one of the biggest superstars to ever play basketball. He's an all-time great. He became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, MVPs, championships in both college and the pros. This is his first cover. So you can see the cheerleader there and you can see Lou sitting there, but the first thing you'll notice is this aspect ratio is off because it really should cut off right about there. This is what the cover actually looks like. The rest of Lou is part of this fold-out insert that you'd open up to. So the problem is that when you get this issue graded, you got this cheerleader on there and you got the basketball and all you got is Lou Alcindor's foot. Again, this is an absolute disaster for a huge superstar to have their first cover be so absolutely terrible like this. Now you'll see here, this is his second cover. So, because the rookie cover is so bad, his second cover has even more value, in my opinion, than if the rookie cover was in good shape. This is a great cover. You can see the UCLA jersey. You've got the bird's eye view. It looks like they probably had that camera sitting on top of the backboard. It looks like Lou's grabbing the rebound. Look, Lou's rookie cover is terrible. I almost don't even want to own it. I mean, I can't be sitting. I mean, look at this one again. That's not something that I would be proud to display, or nobody even knows what the heck it is. So Lou's first cover is just such a disaster and so awful that it really diminishes its collectability. Look for Lou's second cover, or something else you might want to look for. This is his first pro cover. Again, this is a great shot. Lou is prominently featured. He's the only one on the cover. It's the headline, My Story by Lou Alcindor. He's got the kind of half beard going and the afro. He looks great in the Bucks uniform. Again, that second cover and the first pro cover, all of a sudden, in my opinion, become more collectible because his first cover is just it's just awful. I mean, that's the worst example. Good news is they all get better from here, but still some problems. This next issue isn't nearly as bad. This is Johnny Bench. So this is Johnny Bench's rookie cover from 1968. Not terrible, but he's sharing the cover with a bunch of guys that didn't have anywhere near the career that Bench had. Also on that cover are Mike Torres, Cisco Carlos, Don Pepper, and Alan Foster. Now, this was before my time. These guys might have had fine careers. I have no idea because I've never heard of any of them. And certainly none of them were anywhere near as collectible as the greatest catcher of all time, Johnny Bench. So it's going to hurt the collectability because this is Bench's first cover, and he's sharing the cover with a bunch of no names. So now all of a sudden that second cover becomes much more collectible. This is a great looking cover. This is the kind of cover I want to collect from an amazing catcher like Johnny Bench. He's got his catcher's gear on. The mask is off. It looks like he's trying to catch a pop-up foul. The headline of the issue talks about the big red machine, which was such a great phrase that they used for those Cincinnati teams that were so awesome. I just love it. This one, in my opinion, that 68 cover of Johnny Bench, still collectible, but it's not as great as this second cover from 1970. And again, this second cover, because the first one is so bad, all of a sudden now becomes even more collectible. Let's move on. This is Bo Jackson, and you're going to see unfortunately, there's a couple that look really similar here. So this is Bo Jackson's first cover from December 1985. Not terrible, but certainly not what you would want from a huge superstar's first cover. You can see here he's sharing the cover with Chuck Long and Joe Dudek. This was a little bit more my time, so those are names that I remember. But they're not guys that have any collectability, and certainly nothing near Bo Jackson's collectability. You can see Bo's got this tiny little picture here at the top. And over half the cover is this headline on the right-hand side, the little check boxes on the right. It's just not a great rookie cover. What is so much dramatically better is Bo Jackson's second cover. Now, this is his second cover from July 1986. This one is just an absolute amazing cover, in my opinion. Bo Jackson is the only person on the cover. He's wearing his minor league baseball uniform from when he played for the Memphis Chicks. I mean, just look at him. The guy's ripped. He's got a football player's neck. His biceps look like they're about to bust out of the sleeves. Remember, this is back before baseball players were all jacked up. So to see Bo, all swole like this on the cover, I absolutely love it. For me, this cover is more collectible than his rookie cover. I would much rather have this cover than in this issue and have it graded than his rookie cover. I used to own this issue. I had it at a 9.4. It was the highest graded copy in the world, and I sold it last year to a buddy of mine. I do have Bo's rookie cover. Didn't say it's not collectible at all. I just said this one's more collectible. I do have his rookie cover from 1985. It's at CGC being graded right now. So one more example here that I want to show you. And this is Emmitt Smith. So, and obviously I automatically see a lot of similarities. This is Emmitt Smith's first Sports Illustrated cover from November 1989. Again, very similar to the Bo Jackson cover in a lot of ways. This is all talking about the Heisman and who might win the Heisman this year. You've got several players in pictures with tiny little boxes. Most of the cover's real estate is devoted to the headline and not the players. In some ways, this is a worse first cover than Bo Jackson's, because on Bo's cover, he was only sharing it with 2 other players. Here, Emmitt Smith is sharing it with 4 other players, Tony Rice, Major Harris, Anthony Thompson, and Andre Ware. Again, similar to Bo's, none of those players are collectible. This is just kind of a disappointing cover. Not a total disaster. It's just disappointing for a first cover. Now, this is his second cover, and it's obviously much better. So this issue is from January 1993, so 4 years after the first cover. But you see Emmett carrying the ball. We got this guy from the 49ers trying to tackle him. And we have the headline, Emmitt Smith leads the Cowboys to Pasadena, referencing their trip to the Super Bowl they were about to take that year. Much, much better cover than the first. I do own copies of both Emmitt Smith, both his first cover and his second cover. His first cover is at CGC being graded right now. I've got this issue sitting in a huge stack here in my home office with a bunch of other issues that I still need to get wrapped up and sent out to CGC. So, to kind of put a bow on this portion of the segment, kind of keep that in mind. We collect Sports Illustrateds not only for all the great things about them, but a lot of for how they look. I mean, we love the photography. We love our athletes prominently displayed on these covers. And when an athlete just isn't prominently displayed or has a terrible first cover, just flat out will affect the collectability of that specific issue.